Ravonna Renslayer returns in episode 3, meeting with Miss Minutes in 1868 Chicago, aka the Sacred Timeline. She fled the Time Variance Authority in a hurry last season because there was a backup plan in case He Who Remains died. Ravonna and Miss Minutes were both part of it, and for the time being, it appears that Miss Minutes is aware of most, if not all of the plot, and directs Ravonna, instructing her to leave a package containing a copy of the TVA guide for a young Victor Timely to locate. Victor Timely is in fact He Who Remains, or one of his variants. Kang isn't mentioned yet since the characters we've seen so far in the program aren't conquerors. He Who Remains did win the multiversal war, which resulted in the formation of the Sacred Timeline, but he remained otherwise dormant at the end of time. With him gone and timelines branching all over the place, everyone, even the TVA's Temporal Loom, may require a replacement to fix what's wrong. Loki and Mobius later arrive in Chicago in 1893 at the famed World's Fair. This was after being unable to uncover anything in 1868, but they were able to trace Renslayer's tempad, but now the original mission was to find Miss Minutes, who, despite being a cartoon clock, appears to have almost complete autonomy, and to bring her to the TVA so Obi can access the increasingly unstable loom. For Ravonna, this is an opportunity to make a fresh start and to prove her value while preserving the Sacred Timeline. Several business people are interested in purchasing the loom-like machine Victor Timely has been working on. All in all, he's learned from the TVA manual, but Victor claims he doesn't want to have any partners. That is until he meets Obi. Mr. Timely is an astute as he is deceptive and intent on improving people's lives with his inventions, but the incident that he showcases to the audience proves over and over again that he just can't be trusted. Things become even more problematic when Sylvia arrives to kill the He Who Remains variant. The assumption here is that she was following Loki and Mobius up to this point. She trained herself to defeat He Who Remains, but Victor Timely isn't the same person, at least not yet. After a little incident with an irate businessman and a huge ghost like Miss Minutes, Victor flees with Ravonna and discovers her version of the truth about the TVA and why she's there to assist him. Ravonna is unaware that he is more observant than he appears. During their retreat by boat to Wisconsin, Timely's true base of operations, Ravonna falls into the ocean after being betrayed by Victor Timely and even Miss Minutes. Remember what we learned about him. He's dishonest and doesn't work well in groups. He's finally becoming a proper Kang. Miss Minutes, who appears to be rather radiant, discloses at his laboratory that she was extremely envious of Ravonna and has grown affections for He Who Remains during the eons that they spent together. This was all during the multiversal war, leading all the way to the end of time. Renslayer also goes there through a time portal when Sylvie grants her that wish, a seat at the end of time. Sylvie may have used her power to demonstrate to Renslayer what she's really capable of. And at the end of time is where the Citadel lays and where He Who Remains' body lays and rots. Miss Minutes reveals a secret to Ravonna at the Citadel at the end of time in episode 4. Ravonna's memories have been purged of a secret. Ravonna glances at a window into her past as if viewing someone else's life. Miss Minutes casts a little projection in front of the both of them. He Who Remains expresses gratitude to Ravonna for her contribution in the multiversal war and informs her that he will be honored to roll alongside her. Ravonna, for her part, fully expects to help lead the TVA into a new era of order and stability, but He Who Remains has other intentions for both her and the organization over which he seeks complete control of. When Ravonna returns to the TVA from the Citadel, He Who Remains orders Miss Minutes to erase every TVA employee's memory, including Ravonna's. That's just damn cold. Ravonna, as Miss Minutes accounts, didn't only aid He Who Remains to win the multiverse war, she commanded the army. Victor Timely, back in the TVA, is interested and concerned by this temporal loom. In the last episode, he was able to dodge and escape Miss Minutes and Ravonna Renslayer, joining along the heroes back to the TVA. Employees, including our Loki, try to persuade him into meeting OB and to resolve the issue. The season has been largely centered on that temporal loom, which serves as the story's core as the timelines and character storylines all converge on it. Season 1 revealed the truth about the Sacred Timeline in the TVA, while Season 2 is about protecting the timelines and hoping for the best. The meeting between Obi and Victor exposes the first of two closed temporal looms. Obi was inspired by Victor's reading of the TVA guidebooks, Ouroboros. This is what some fans from Doctor Who would call timey-wimey stuff. Basically, Timely was inspired by Ouroboros' book, which he based upon Timely's studies. It's a chicken or the egg scenario. We don't really know which it is, so we just call it timey-wimey stuff. Sylvie is concerned about the threatened timelines and is hoping for a solution from an unexpected He Who Remains variant. Her worries are a reflection of the system's failure. They're stuck in a waiting game with little alternatives. Hunter B-15 is determined to see that the TVA is transformed into a system worth maintaining. Winmi Mosaku's character plays a vital role and part in giving power to the new TVA narrative. Kate Dickey's General Dox reappears in this story, and her armies may play a beneficial role in preserving branching histories rather than just eradicating them. Loki and Sylvie, in their own unique ways, wrestle with that concept as well, molded by their complicated past. It's clear that Loki believes in the prospect of resurrecting the old TVA, revisiting themes from his brief tenure as an evil dictator in the Avengers. But now, seen through a different lens, accompanied with the weight of doing good, this alternation in Loki's character is visible and compelling after only 10 episodes of the series. Sylvie, on the other hand, is a little more hesitant, but decides to put her confidence in Loki. Ravonna and Miss Minutes utilize a time portal to access the chamber where Dox, her minions, and XO5, aka Brad, are being kept. Ravonna needs the help to gain control of the TVA, and Dox and her supporters originally supported her goals. However, things have changed, and trust is in a short supply as everyone feels duped at this point. Dox declines Ravonna's offer to join and cements her fate. Ravonna and company decide to end the troops in a gruesome visual. I mean, the noises that were created were just really unsettling. And I think the fact that we got to see Miss Minutes smiling through the entire time in this torture machine, it's a little screwed up, but I think it also speaks into the kind of AI and the kind of character nature that Miss Minutes is. X5 joins forces with Ravonna and Miss Minutes. He has a history of prioritizing himself over others, and his actions in this episode highlight that trait to the core. The device meant to repair the temporal loom is almost finished. Victor Timely is, however, kidnapped by XO5 and brought before Ravonna when interrupting some hot chocolate. The AI attempts to slow the heroes down, even setting up an elevator trap for Sylvie. Victor carefully delays revealing the technology Ravonna needs. This allows Loki and Sylvie time to reunite. Loki is responsible for pruning himself during his trip to the future in episode 1. Loki and Sylvie work together to mind control X5, who leads them to Ravonna and ends up pruning her in the process. Miss Minutes gets hacked and is deactivated, reverting back to her most basic form as a clock app. This is a huge triumph for the squad, but not so fast. In a battle against time, the heroes determined that Victor Timely should approach the loom and launch the gadget that can salvage the bigger machine and all of life as we know it. This occurrence could result in him becoming Kang or He Who Remains. When Victor ventures outdoors, however, he is entirely spaghettified by a huge temporal radiation, resulting in a shocking and unexpected death and turn of events. Hey movie lovers, welcome to Real Talk Movies, your next destination for all things cinema. If you're a big film fanatic like me, smash that like button and hit subscribe. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on future discussions, in-depth reviews, and analysis on all things related to film. Now, back to the video. Victor Timely's horrible demise demonstrates the show's willingness to tackle the true stakes and natures of a disorganized multiverse. Miss Minutes' insane conduct and ridicule of Victor Timely adds a depth of violence to the story, implying her darker side to her creator's personality. Miss Minutes was originally produced by Kang or He Who Remains or another version of the character, but with her AI malfunction, will her original inventor make an appearance to revive her? And if Victor met his death in the episode's finale, what kind of Kang variants might arise next? The show's pace has been a source of worry for me, with an emphasis in making those shocking endings. Unlike previous Marvel Studios' series, however, Loki has maintained suspense without depending too much on that shock value, making the plot more intriguing, adding some unpredictability to the story. All this goes into the implications of a multiverse gone wrong, and I think the show's been pretty successful at it so far. The show ends on a dramatic cliffhanger as the temporal loom bursts and the mission appears to fail. Suspense for what happens next is absolutely tremendous. Ravonna's possible participation in ending the upheaval lends an intriguing twist to the plot. And in a multiverse, one constantly should expect the unexpected. The lack of the original Timekeepers and statues, as well as the presence of Jonathan Majors in the past version of the TVA, pose a concern regarding the nature of time and reality in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Loki, Kang, and the Temporal Loom's connection might lead to some big developments. With Victor Timely's destined undetermined and the Temporal Loom crisis in full force, their heroes will need to band together and possibly recruit new allies to deal with the mounting multiversal issue. Tom Hiddleston's and Sophie Martino's performances are distinct as Loki variants and remain the highlight of this series. Their dynamic provides a dimension to the tale that we don't see in other shows, to be honest. The show keeps its viewers interested and curious on what's to come, especially with the impending turmoil of the Temporal Loom. The MCU's growing plot and character connection make it a captivating show. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 3 and 4 of Loki season 2 in the comment section below. Do you think that the multiversal concept and the Temporal Loom concept are things that are going to make sense at the very end? Or do you, like I did a couple episodes back, worry about the complexion of the story's plot moving forward? Share all those thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. If you could hit that sub button, that would be awesome. Hit that like button and boost my video up on the algorithm. Click that bell so you don't miss any of my videos that get uploaded. And if you have some time to spare, check out some of these videos on your screen right now.